You're listening to the Bruins Forrcheck podcast. You can support the show by commenting, liking, and subscribing to our YouTube channel at Bruins Forrcheck, or by leaving 5 stars and a comment on iTunes, Apple, Amazon, and Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find and listen to your favorite podcast. The Bruins Forrcheck. Remember, it's FORR for number 4, Bobby Orr. And now, here is your host, Dave Daniello. Enjoy this week's show.
Thank you, Megan Daniello, for that awesome introduction to the show. Yes, folks, that's my daughter, Megan Daniello, doing a fantastic job for us. Thank you again, Megan. Before I get into the show, I think you see I'm wearing my Maine Black Bears jersey with all sorts of autographs. Might even have Jim Montgomery's autograph on there. It's that old. I wanted to touch on the tragic events in my home state, in Lewiston, Maine, that happened a couple weeks ago. I'm hurting. I've got a lot of friends in the Lewiston and Auburn, Maine area. Most of those people are involved in the ice hockey community, and I can't even imagine what you guys must be going through even now, a couple of weeks after the shoot. I couldn't believe it when I read it for the first time, sitting on my couch, 3,000 miles away. I was blown away. Maybe had a few tears come, talking with my wife about it as we're sitting on the couch and maybe watching the Bruins. I don't remember what we were doing, but it was a shock. And let me tell you, fans, if something like that can happen in the community of Lewiston, Maine, then it can happen anywhere. I just want everybody to know that my heart is with you. All of the people that I know where I am at are with you. Support is there. It was awesome seeing the Boston Bruins support and the tribute that they had. The 207 jersey hanging behind the bench. Something that I will never forget. But I just wanted you guys to know how sick and disgusted I am. That if I was there in Lewiston, I would do anything I could to help you get past it. Life will never ever be the same in Lewiston again. But if I know the community there in Maine and the community there in Lewiston, everyone will pick up their friends, they'll pick up their neighbors, and life will go on. So Lewiston strong. Back to the show. Hey, Bruins fans. We're back. We are back and we are ready to go. Welcome to the Bruins Forrcheck, presented to you by, oh, who the hell am I kidding? We don't have any sponsorship. Not in this show. But please, guys, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Leave us a like. We would really appreciate the support. And if you like what we're doing here, let your friends, let your social groups know. That way, more people can hear what we have going on and what we're up to. And lastly, if you can't catch us on YouTube, you can get us on Facebook. You can get us on Instagram at Bruins Forrcheck. You can email the show, bruinsforrcheck@gmail.com. And you can also listen to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And remember, folks, it's Forrcheck, FORR, for number 4, Bobby Orr. Well, it seems like the last time that we were on the air, it was months ago, doesn't it? Well, actually, it was. We've had some events happen, a lot of things have happened since February with our last episode. And the last time we spoke, the Bruins were cruising to try to get the best regular season record ever in the NHL, and they were blazing a trail right through the Stanley Cup, and they were going to hoist the cup in June. Well, that sure as fuck didn't happen. They did, however, go on to claim the best regular season ever in the NHL, and then went on to shit the bed against Florida on the back of Jim Montgomery's horrible decision making, and they exited the playoffs in the first round. Not only did they exit the playoffs in the first round, but they blew up the team in the off season. Bergeron retires, Krejci retires. We let Bertuzzi go, and he went off to the Toronto Maple Leafs of all places. Foligno left. He's now making contributions for other teams. He was heart and soul of that Bruins locker room, just like Bergeron. And it certainly looked to me like we were going to go into year one of an amazing, long rebuilding process. And while all that was going on, the Daniello family made a huge decision, and we decided to leave San Antonio, Texas, where I was a displaced hockey fan, and we moved 2,300 miles back to the northwest, to the Seattle area, where now I'm not a displaced hockey. Yes, folks, a lot of things have happened since the last time we talked, and I'm no longer a displaced hockey fan. I cannot tell you how excited that makes me. I'm now living in Kraken country. I'm just a few minutes away from Climate Pledge Arena, and I have to put up with Kraken fans galore while trying to support my beloved Bruins. But I have to tell you, I love it. I can actually have conversations, hockey conversations with people here, and they know what I'm talking about. And they can have a rebuttal, and I know what they're talking about. I got to tell you, I have a huge amount of respect for the community here, the hockey community. The Kraken fans are knowledgeable, they're passionate, they love the sport, they support it. It's great to be back in a place that loves ice hockey. Unlike San Antonio, Texas, where hockey goes to die. I can't even believe it myself. Give me a hallelujah. I'm very, very happy to be here in the Seattle area. And because this is my first time back this season, I'm going to give you my take on what happened with the Bruins at the end of last season. Yes, Jim Montgomery, I blame you. This is all your fault. You screwed up. You screwed the pooch. You shouldn't have put Bergeron back in the lineup in Game 5. Yes, fans, I said it. I know you want my head. You want me to stand in front of a firing squad. I'm going to hell. I said, oh my God, don't put Bergeron back in the lineup. Folks, we had the series. It was 3-1. Bergeron was hurt. We had Florida's number. And by putting a hurt Bergeron back in the lineup, we lost our mojo. We had to make too many changes for that to happen. And Florida had a game plan for Bergeron being in the lineup. They didn't have a game plan for when he wasn't. You guys have got to see that. At least keep the man out till game 6 or game 7. Better yet, don't even put him in until round 2. He was hurt, and he's a gamer. We all know it. We've all heard all the stories over the years about Bergeron being hurt, playing through it. But that was a mistake. Last year was the year, guys. It was the year. And it would have been better for Bergeron to miss 1 or 2 games or come in round 2 after we put Florida to bed. We lost our mojo. If Marchand had scored at the end of game 5 in the waning seconds, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, but he didn't. We have that. And then we have Monty's terrible goaltending decisions. Everybody knows Ullmark was not himself late in that series. He gave a great effort, but you could see it. There were times he could barely move. He just was himself. He was hurt. The Vezina Trophy winner should have relinquished the net in Game 5. Montgomery should have put Swayman in and gave him a chance in Game 5. If you want, you could bring you could bring Ullmark back in Game 6 and maybe Swayman then again in Game 7. But you can't put Swayman in Game 7 with that type of pressure. He's a rookie. He's never been there before. He played fantastic, but we still lost. You put Swayman in Game 5, minimum Game 6 and Game 7, if you're not going to play Ullmark, and then you ride it out to see how that goes. You don't put Bergeron in. You do put Swayman in Game 5. That changes the whole series. Right there, it's done. We win. We move on. Jim Montgomery, that series loss falls squarely on your shoulders. End of statement. So we get booted out of the playoffs. I have to watch Florida go in, and finally they got booted. And then we have to watch Bruce Cassidy, of all fucking people, and I love Bruce Cassidy, don't get me wrong, but of all fucking people, we have to watch Bruce Cassidy lift the Stanley Cup with Vegas. What does that tell you? Then we go on to the offseason. Let's talk about this rebuilding year we're having. What rebuilding year? We have reloaded, is what we've done, and I didn't even see it coming. And I pay attention, but I didn't see it. Coming into this season, I thought we were going to be terrible. I thought we were going to be in the cellar. No doubt about it. We were going to clean up the mess. We were going to be the Arizona Coyotes of our division. But I've been pleasantly surprised with what's been going on. Let's face it, we haven't even played well. We haven't played great most of the time, but we are 10-1-1. Yes, I'll say it again because I can't even believe it. We are 10-1-1. And we are like second in the power rankings to Vegas. Fuck, it's Vegas. All because we have the best goaltending tandem in the NHL. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Our defense is playing pretty good hockey right now, too. It's our forwards that aren't getting it done. Defense is good. Goaltending is better. We're doing enough to win games. We're scoring just enough goals to win games. I think we're averaging 2.8 goals a game or something to that effect. We're doing just enough, which, mark my words, will pay dividends at the end of the season. All these close games will pay dividends. Ullmark and Swayman have saved the beginning of this season for us. Let's just hope the rest of the team figures their shit out before they take a dump. Because then we go on a big, long losing streak. Mark my words. And how about the kids? As Jack Edwards would say, the kids are all right. Lowry, Beecher, Poitras, Mitchell, all doing great. Lowry and Beecher got their first goals of their career, their NHL career, just the other night in Dallas. Poitras's been on fire with 7 points, 4 goals. Right, he had a hot streak there for a minute, and the additions of the veterans like Van Riemsdyk, Shattenkirk, Geeky, who just now went out, by the way. He's now on week to week. He's going to be out of the lineup. They've all had great effect. Love having those guys. Geeky, former Crack. Pasternak's looking good. Marchand is handling the C better than I expected. I really thought Marchand was going to have a difficult time putting the C on the jersey because I was worried it would take that nasty out of his game. I was worried that it would tame him a little bit. And believe me, you want him to be the rat. You really do. I've been a coach. You want a player like that on your team. Gets inside the other players' heads, gets them focused on the wrong things, right? Marchand is very, very, very good at that. But he's in a learning curve. I think he's doing remarkably well, scored a few goals, seems to be a good captain. Let's hope he can grow even more into the role. I think he's going to get it. And let's take a look at Brandon Carlo. Brandon Carlo looks like a guy that may have taken a step in his maturity as an NHL defenseman. Never been a huge Brandon Carlo fan, but he learned from the best. He learned from Zdeno Chara, right? He's making breakout passes. He's making good plays behind the net. He's getting the puck out of the zone when he has to. He's been good. And I have been surprised. I am becoming more and more and more a Brandon Carlo fan. And do we have a drum roll? Milan Lucic, fan favorite in Boston. He's back. But he's already hurt. And frankly, I love the guy, but what is he really going to bring to the team this year? Sure, there's some leadership qualities there. Everybody likes him. The fans adore him, right? He's great on the bench. I've heard that so many times. He's such a great cheerleader, but he can barely skate. It's almost brutal to watch the man skate and play. And that was before the foot injury that he has. But he should be coming back any game now. I think another game or two, and he'll be back in the lineup. Sure, he brings some toughness. Teams play maybe a little differently when he's on the ice or in the lineup. But so does Trent Frederick. I think Trent Frederick can grow into a Milan Lucic role. I really do. Number 11 has a tremendous, tremendous upside. And I think you're going to see he's going to be a staple in the lineup in a year or two. He's going to be one of those glue guys. He's going to be one of those guys that you have to have. And the Bruins fans are going to come to love him. I already love him. I like him from a coach's perspective. I love him from a fan's perspective. He does what he's supposed to do. He does what he's told. He doesn't try to do too much. And he keeps his mouth shut. All great things. I love Trent Frederick. The last thing I'm going to bring up for this episode, because I'm sure you guys want to go on with your day, Jake DeBrusk. You remember that whole thing about I just said about he keeps his mouth shut? I am not a Jake DeBrusk fan. I have not been a Jake DeBrusk fan since he ran his mouth and wanted to trade a couple seasons ago. He is not a guy that makes other players better. Jake DeBrusk needs to be in the lineup with better players to make him look better. Yes, it doesn't make him better, it makes him look better. They make up for all of his deficiencies. I am not a Jake DeBrusk fan. You guys have heard me talk about it if you've listened to other episodes last season. We should have traded him when he asked for it. Plain and simple. Get rid of him. Oh, wait, we can't because we foolishly signed him to some deal he shouldn't have gotten when we had the chance to move him. He's got to go, right? Jim Montgomery, Don Sweeney, get together, figure out how many water bottles and pucks it's going to take to fucking move this guy and get rid of him. Get him out of Boston. I don't care if you send him to Edmonton. I don't care. He can go play. His dad can watch him while he's commentating. I don't give a shit where he goes as long as he's not in the black and gold. Tell I don't like him. I don't like him. He's not a Boston Bruin. He doesn't fit the mold. Well, guys, that's all I've got. That was my take this week. I promise you, next week we'll have more content. We'll break down some games. We'll talk a little bit more about the players, maybe have a few stories. I can tell you future episodes coming down the pike. I'm going to have a couple of guests come in, hockey people. I think you'll enjoy that. We're 1 month into the season. We're 10-1-1. Things are going far better than I expected. Remember, fans, new episodes drop every Monday. So get ready. We're going to give it to you straight. We don't pull any punches here. I want to thank everybody for giving me a few minutes of your time. Stay tuned for more content this week. My name is Dave Daniello. This is the Bruins Forrcheck. And remember, it's FORR for number 4, Bobby Orr. We'll see you soon.